Starter Pokemon are some of the most beloved in the franchise. You played Pokemon, you probably have a favorite, and chances are it's a Pokemon you've spent a lot of time with. You likely used it to take on the gyms, delete the Elite Four, and become the champion. But something not a lot of people have done is catch a shiny starter. Typically, you only get your choice of one per full playthrough of the game, and based purely on the odds, it probably didn't shine for you. To make matters worse, these starter Pokemon are shiny locked in modern games, so in some cases, you never even had a chance. But all that changed with the Indigo Disc DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, released on December 14th, 2023. For the first time in main series history, nearly every starter became available to catch in the wild, and I knew I had to do something to celebrate. So I set out on a daunting quest to catch every single shiny starter Pokemon, all 81 of them. I didn't just stop at the 27 starters given out by the professors in Gen 1 through 9, I shiny hunted 3 of each to obtain every evolution stage for every family. By the way, if you're comparing the upload date of this video to the date the Indigo Disc DLC came out, then you may have realized this challenge took me over a year to finish. I should probably start getting into how it all went down. One of the reasons this challenge took me so long to finish was the fact that I was working on other projects at the same time. The first of these was my shiny only Nuzlocke of the DLC that kicked off this starter quest, and the first Pokemon I happened to go for was Blaziken. But as I started the run, I realized I didn't have access to the areas where I could hunt Torchic freely, so I ended up just Masuda hunting my target instead of hunting in the wild like I expected. Just as a quick reminder, because you're going to see a whole lot of egg hatching in this video, the shiny odds for this method are 1 in 683 without the shiny charm, and then go to 1 in 512 if you have the shiny charm. Luckily, I have that item, so this method should be a pretty quick and reliable way to make progress in this challenge. But despite all that, fate had decided that this was going to be one of my worst Masuda hunting experiences ever. I had to go twice over odds to get this first target, and before you hear my oddly intimate reaction, you have to understand that I was hatching eggs for days, so I was a little excited. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Oh my god. Now, with all the recent debate about starter Pokemon, especially after the Legends ZA announcement, and even more so the controversy around this guy and the unnecessary hate for this guy, I thought it would be fun to rank every shiny I've caught into my definitive tier list. The S tier is the absolute elite. These are my all-time favorites, the best of the best, hands down. The A tier are going to be still fantastic shinies. If I place something here, I have no complaints or notes. It's just missing that little extra that would put it into my all-time favorite list. The B tier is going to be solid shinies. It could be a minor color scheme tweak, or maybe it just has bad luck in the nostalgia lottery. The C tier are the mid shinies. They're not good, they're not bad. Usually I don't like rankings like this because I would rather say something is overall good or overall bad, but because I'm ranking so many Pokemon, I think I actually need a mid category to kind of even things out. But then we get to the D tier, and this is where shinies start to get questionable. Either the color scheme is off for me, or I've got some personal baggage with the Pokemon. And then lastly, we have the F tier. And unfortunately, if a Pokemon is placed all the way down here, the shiny form is beyond redemption. There will also be a few Pokemon that I put down in this category, probably out of spite, or maybe they've wronged me in a past life, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to Blaziken, I have to say up front that I love this Pokemon. There was nothing quite like spamming Blaze Kick on everything I saw back in Gen 3, and this Pokemon played a crucial role in my recent Nuzlocke of this DLC. I have some strong feelings about this Pokemon, but at the end of the day, we're here to talk about the shiny, and honestly, it's kind of mid. I do think the colors are a bit of an improvement over the original. I like that it's a bit more vibrant and the colors stand out a bit more. But if you were to show me any random Blaziken, I don't think I'd be able to tell if it was shiny or not without having the context of the other coloring. So I'm going to give it a C tier. As I go on to the next target, I wanted to quickly mention that I'm not going to go into crazy detail about the Pokemon I caught specifically for this Nuzlocke challenge. But that said, one important piece of context from a Nuzlocke hunts that also happen to be starter Pokemon hunts, there's a timer on the top left of the screen. That timer doesn't represent how long it took me to get the current shiny I'm talking about, it's just the total time I spent hunting throughout my entire Nuzlocke run video. The only footage I have left of these shiny encounters and reactions comes from my final video, so I'm making do by reusing clips. I lost the original recording, so this footage is the next best thing. Now I'm back to getting Piplup, and ultimately in Empoleon, which was the first shiny starter I actually caught in the wild of this game. Sadly, Piplup doesn't spawn without some extra work. You have to complete these barbecue quests to earn barbecue points, which you ultimately spend to boost the biodiversity of a particular biome. It sounds simple, but it's actually a pretty slow grind. It took me about 2 hours with the help of some friends just to unlock starters in the polar biome. Thankfully, that same time investment was not required for the actual shiny hunt. Piplup showed up pretty quick.
Yes! It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't even know. Lost track.
Now, I know this ranking is going to get me some hate in the comments, but I'm going to stand by it. I think Empoleon's shiny is mid. The color change just feels like a downgrade to me. Normally I love these aquamarine colors, but losing Empoleon's darker body color makes its shiny look super washed out and kind of hard to look at. And to make things worse, its feet turn this kind of nasty neon yellow green. It's still a cool Pokemon, and I think that's enough to keep it out of the lower tiers, so I'm going to put it in the C tier. Moving on, we have another catch from my Nuzlocke challenge, which was Incineroar. Again, it was a bit of a pain to collect the necessary barbecue points for unlocking Litten because we are in a new biome, but it ended up being a pretty quick hunt. If you go into the mountains with a fire sandwich, only Litten spawn there, and because the shiny is so easy to spot, we can find what we're looking for in like literally no time at all. I saw a white thing. I saw a white thing. I thought it was an item. It's just a cat. There he is. There we go. You know, it's kind of unfortunate, but I think I'm going to have two pretty controversial takes on shiny Pokemon right in a row. So I guess now's a good time to mention that if you agree or disagree with my rankings, leave a comment below and let me know. While you're down there, like the video and subscribe too. Almost 90% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed, which I think is crazy. Anyways, I've said this before, but I love shinies that feature an alternate black or white color scheme. Incineroar is an exception to that rule though. I don't think I can exactly put my finger on it, but something just feels off about the shiny. Maybe the gray body doesn't fit with the red and white stripes, or maybe it's the fact that whenever I see this Pokemon, I think about clowns. It's not like I'm scared of clowns, but the fact that this thing looks like Ronald McDonald does not sit well with me, and that's enough to kind of keep it out of the higher tiers. I think it's still a decent shiny, and it's overall good, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. I think some people might have expected it to be higher, but clown coloring, I just can't get over it. Moving on, we have another Nuzlocke shiny, and this time it's in the coastal biome because I have to find Venusaur. Since this was a new area for me in my run, I once again had to grind some barbecue quests to unlock Bulbasaur spawns. This is another pretty straightforward hunt. It's pretty similar to Litten. All you need to do is make a grass sandwich, hunt at the top of this mountain, and you're bound to find one pretty quick. Yeah! Oh! It's one of the nicest hunts. It's so refreshing after going for so long. Thank you. Is that a shiny behind the the screen? Hang on. Skip. Panic. Like it's just lighting. No! It looks like a different color. Unbelievable. What the heck, man? Whew, that's a lot of excitement for one shiny, but that's all a distraction from ranking this guy. I think I've put this part off long enough, and I kind of have to talk about it. This Pokemon is a victim of what I call the Great Green Plague of Generation 1. I understand that early hardware and color palette limitations forced a lot of shinies to be green in those early games, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I'm not trying to be a green hater. There are some good green shinies out there, but in my opinion, Venusaur's shade of green, especially in the Scarlet and Violet games, is kind of nasty, but I just can't rank the shiny high. I think I'm going to give this my first F tier. At this point in the Nuzlocke, I had all the barbecue points I needed to unlock every starter Pokemon, so basically from here on out, we can freely hunt in the wild. Turtwig is another starter that you can find pretty easily. It appears in the northern half of the canyon biome, but in certain locations you can use a grass sandwich and it's the only spawn. Similar to the hunts before, it's just a matter of time before the shiny shows up. There he is. There he is. Try this fireball, it can work. Now, Torterra has a lot in common with the Venusaur we just ranked. They're both grass-type starters, they both walk around on four legs, and they both have plants growing on them. But another unfortunate similarity is that they both have this weird off-green shiny color. Venusaur's shiny at least has an excuse, but Torterra is a Gen 4 Mon, and that limitation wasn't nearly as much of a problem. I think this makes it an easy F tier for me again. Sorry, buddy. Rollerboom was my next target, and Thwacky, the first stage evolution, can be found on the beach in the coastal biome. As is the theme, one grass encounter sandwiches, all that it takes to isolate the spawns, and give it enough time, you'll find your shiny starter. I do have a funny story though I wanted to share before the encounter. Earlier in the challenge I found a rare marked Love Disc, which was a pretty important Pokemon in my strategy to beat Drayton. I should have been protecting it with my life, but as we encountered the shiny I think I turned my brain off. The wild starter Pokemon in Blueberry Academy are no joke. Most of them are leveled in the 60s, and if you're not prepared they can wreck you. But remember, these hunts are part of my Nuzlocke, so if a Pokemon faints, it's gone. As for Rillaboom's shiny, we have another green situation, and that's a bit unfortunate. I will admit, I think the colors kind of work well together, but the neon green I think is just too much. Maybe I'm just getting too old and this shiny hurts my eyes, or maybe I'm having PTSD because of all the time I spent in the construction industry. It's not the worst of the worst, but the green makes me think it's not good. I much prefer the non-shiny color scheme, so I'm going to put this in the D tier. So the shiny starter hunts in the Nuzlocke continue, and if you've been keeping track of the sheer number of starters I've hunted, and the timer in the top left of the screen ticking up to kind of silly numbers, you may be able to tell that things were not going too smoothly at the time. Regardless, Chestnut was a fun and easy hunt. This time I was lucky and I had an outbreak in Chargestone Cave ready to go, and after some time I got the shiny I was looking for. Oh, bless. Oh. Yes! I feel like I've been super negative in my reviews so far, but I think Chestnut is actually a good shiny. Yes, there's green in it, but I actually think it works in the design this time. The problem I have with Venusaur and Torterra shinies is that they are entirely a weird combination of green and off-green colors, but Chestnut uses that green pretty tastefully, and the body color change complements it perfectly. In my opinion, this is how grass-type shinies should look, so it gets a solid B tier. The last Pokemon I captured in the Nuzlocke for this challenge was Samurott, and I'm gonna have to apologize here. Unfortunately, I don't have the footage for it because, well, in the year I finished editing that video and started this challenge, I lost the original footage. That said, I know you love shiny reactions, so through the power of video editing, I'll recreate the moment I found my shiny Oshawott. Now this is a nice shiny. I love gold and blue as a color combination, and it really works with the white highlights as well. The only thing that bugs me a little bit is the shell's colors. There's kind of this rose gold pinkish color that doesn't mesh too well with the others, but that's just me being a little nitpicky. Overall, I think it's a really solid shiny, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. With the Nuzlocke challenge shinies behind us, it was time for me to focus purely on the shinies to finish this starter challenge. And after some debate on which one of the many that are left to hunt next, I decided to go for the Charmander line. One reason was because I'd never hunted a shiny Charizard before, but I also wanted to get something special. Since it was my birthday, I figured this was the perfect time to go for a Destiny Mark Charizard. It was a great way to work on multiple projects at once, and any extra shinies I phased on would still count towards this every shiny starter challenge. So with that plan in mind, I streamed the entire hunt and got to work. Like 600 Pokemon are in it, out of the 1,000-ish. Let me hit that save button real quick. So long. Oh, what are the odds it has it? I'm also gonna name him Mark. I like Mark. It's a good name. Is Mark the one? Is he marked? No. Oh, he's not marked. Mark isn't marked. Sadly, no mark for the first one, but it still counts for this challenge. So let's rank Charmander shiny. Nostalgia is playing a huge role in this ranking. Even though I ranked Blaziken's shiny at a C tier for having similar color palettes to the original, I just love Charmander's gold and the Pokemon itself. It's just such a simple and pretty upgrade. I was worried that it might not look good in Scarlet and Violet due to the lighting, but I think it looks nice, so I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Back to the hunt though, I still need my Destiny Mark, so I pressed on. But this time you might notice a different timer on the screen. This one is actually keeping track of the time I spent on the Destiny Mark hunt itself. You might also notice that there was a 1-hour time skip between the first and the second shiny, which was a bit rough. The Victory Road theme goes hard. They all go. All the Victory Road themes are so good. I was listening to, oh! Hey, wait. Ooh, yes! Okay, I'm gonna save. We'll slow roll it, see if he's marked, but he's shiny. Here, should I name him Markiplier? We'll keep coming up with Mark puns. We'll do Markiplier, I like that. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. Okay, Markiplier. No! Ah! Nothing? Not any marks? Is that a joke? Another swing and a miss, I guess. But now I could at least rank Charmeleon. I have an interesting theory about this Pokemon, and please let me know if you feel the same way as me. But I always think the middle stage evolutions of starters are in a weird spot. Usually the first stage is iconic. It gets all the marketing. It's often the first Pokemon you ever see in a new game, and usually it's something that's pretty cute to boot. But the final evolution is just as cool. This is one of the forms that you're likely to spend the most time with, especially if you end up doing a lot of post-game stuff. The middle stage is just kind of there, and it always just feels awkward. Maybe it's a bit sad, but it always feels like a stepping stone rather than its own Pokemon. I feel like it rarely gets any marketing attention either. So because of that, Charmeleon is probably my least favorite in the Charmander line. For those reasons, I think it's mid, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier. But back to the hunt for one last time, I still need that Destiny mark. Funny enough, if you check the timer, I only had to hunt for a few more minutes after catching Markiplier before finding my next shiny. I'm probably gonna keep going until I get the Charmander today. But then maybe I'll do Ditto Thursday, which will turn into a birthday week of hunting. Let's go! The game giveth and the game taketh, but the game is giveth. Okay, we'll slow roll it again. I think that's the way to do it. Although now I gotta come up with a third mark pun. I found a website, it's a pun generator. I didn't know that exists, that's awesome. Yellowstone National Mark. Central Mark. Or Joan of Mark. Jurassic Mark. Oh, there's some good ones. Joan of Mark. I don't know why that one stuck with me. I like that. We got Mark, nothing. Markiplier, nothing. We're gonna call him Joan of Mark, but his name is Charmander right now. Does he have something? Anything? I'd take any mark at this point. Okay. Okay, we're making progress. That's good. When I press A, we'll see what mark we got. Yes! Yes! Oh, that's a good one. That's a female too, right? Female Destiny Mark shiny. That's pretty neat. You know, it's kind of poetic. I found 3 shiny Charmander, which is exactly what I needed for this every shiny starter challenge. And on the third one, I got the birthday target, the Destiny Mark shiny Charizard. That's pretty sweet, but not as sweet as this shiny. I don't think there's a debate here. Charizard's shiny is an S tier. I love black and white shinies, and Charizard's pure black looks so sick. Pair that with the fact that this is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, and there's nothing else to really say except it's perfect. No arguments. With the Charizard hunt wrapped up, it was time to shift gears and focus on another starter. I originally went into my next stream with no real plan other than to catch what I was missing, but as soon as I spotted a Tepig outbreak, I knew what I had to do. It's tough though. Oh, hey! Well, I guess we can line one up. Already? I don't even think I need to save, but I will. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's ridiculous. How do you go from 14 hours to 10 minutes? I think I'm gonna name him, I'll be really boring and I'll name him Porky. So I had to think a bit before ranking this one. I usually love gold shinies, especially on fire types. I literally just talked about Charmander, but Tepig has some issues. In addition to the gold, there are parts of the body that change to this weird reddish brown that makes everything look kinda off. Maybe it's just me, but I almost wish they made shiny Tepig look like a bumblebee instead by going black and yellow. So Tepig's gonna land in the D tier for me. That was the only shiny Tepig I found on that stream in that one session. I ended up spending a few more hours hunting and got nothing, which honestly is just kind of how things go in Scarlet and Violet. The next day I decided to hunt off stream, but I did manage to find an outbreak in the perfect spot. Oh, there he is. Oh, I forgot to save. Oops. Oopsie daisy. It's a nice level too. Now, this is a pretty interesting Pokemon to rank. I've mentioned before how awkward middle stage evolutions can feel, but Pignite's shiny kinda actually has some cool elements. The purple swirls on its chest stand out, and they pair really well with the oranges and the browns. That said, I don't think it's a huge departure from the original, and it still suffers from being that kinda awkward middle stage evolution, so I think it's mid, and I'll put it in the C tier. For the final Pokemon in the line, I kept hunting around that central plaza until I finally snagged one last shiny Tepig. Unfortunately, I don't have a reaction clip for this one. I do have the footage, but I think it was super late at night and I must have been so tired that I think I just smiled and caught the Pokemon without saying anything. I don't know what it is about Scarlet and Violet, and maybe it's just me personally, but sometimes when I get a shiny, I just kind of catch it and move on without saying anything. Now, Emboar is a cool Pokemon, and I think its shinies look great. The blue flames are absolutely perfect. The fact that they made its nose match is really nice too. Blue and orange is one of my favorite color combinations, so I'm going to put Emboar in the B tier. I think it's time for a break from all these fire types, so I continued off stream again, but this time I looked specifically for water types. I didn't really have a specific target in mind, but I figured I'd just reset for outbreaks, and the first one that popped up was Poplio. You may have noticed that I'm a bit biased towards fire type starters, but I think the water types are a pretty solid second for me. And honestly, I really like Poplio's design too. I think the pink nose and frills are perfect for this shiny, and the darker blue shade is a great improvement over the original. I'm gonna give this a solid B tier. So this is the part of the video where I'd say I kind of continued the rest of the Poplio hunts to get the last 2 Pokemon in that line, but this was before I knew that you could really keep outbreaks for longer than 24 hours, so I managed to lose the outbreak. Because of that, the next day I ended up resetting for outbreaks, trying to find a random water starter I was missing, but I did find a really special Pokemon very quickly. We got ourselves a Totodile outbreak, so in an instant I dropped everything and decided that I was going to hunt that entire line in one night. If you've never hunted this Pokemon before in the game, it's honestly one of the rare starters because it only spawns in one small pond in the savanna biome, and it's pretty much impossible to get an outbreak in that one spot. You could isolate the hunt with a water sandwich, but it's just so rare to get an outbreak, I had to get it. Ooh. Look at him! Look at him! Ooh, he's thick. I think this is a great water type to follow up Poplio because this is another banger shiny. The aqua color with the yellow and the blue spikes, gorgeous. I think it's an easy A tier. Again, I was not going to waste this Totodile outbreak, so I continued to hunt no matter the cost. I was not going to lose this outbreak without getting the entire line. It did start taking its toll on me. I think my reactions definitely started suffering and getting a bit goofy. Oh, there he is. Are you marked? Oh, you're thick. He's thick. Something I really like about the Totodile line is that Croconaw doesn't really have that mid-stage evolution debuff like the other Pokemon do. I really like the Pokemon's design on its own. To top things off, the color scheme is basically just as perfect as Totodile. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's another easy A tier for me. So that's 2 out of 3, so it's just one more shiny and we're done with this line. I remember staying up super late for this, and I think my reactions continue to deteriorate. Hello! Hello! Oh, it's not even marked. Well, that's number 3, though. I don't think a single shiny this line has missed. Feraligatr is such a cool final stage evolution. It has the same perfect shiny colors as the first 2. It's an easy A tier again for me. And it's probably going to be the only line where every single Pokemon is in a really high tier. Now at this stage last year, I was doing a lot of travel between states in the US, but I still wanted to work on this project. I didn't have a good way to record like I usually do, so I relied heavily on the Switch's built-in replay feature instead. It's not bad, the only issues I have are that I can't really record my voiceover, and the quality is definitely lower. It gets the job done though, so I hunted for the remaining 2 Pokemon on the Grookey line while I was traveling. Let's talk about the ranking though. So Grookey is a cute Pokemon, but I don't think I'm a big fan of its shiny. Again, it's an off-green, but unlike Rillaboom, it's not a nasty neon color. So I think if you weigh those 2 things, I'm gonna put it in the mid C tier. Let's talk about Thwackey as well. I think it's got a few things going for it that I don't like. One, it's primarily this green color, but I don't think it's a good green. I get those same weird neon green vibes Rillaboom gives me. Because it also has that second evolution debuff, I think I'm gonna give it a D tier. Are we good? Perfect. Okay.
We've been hearing some rumors about what happened on June 22nd, 2024. Do you want to talk to us about what happened on that day?
Yeah, I can talk about it. Yeah, that was a real embarrassing day for me. That was one of the hardest days of my life, and a real big moment of weakness. I've thought about it a lot since that day, and it never should have happened. It goes against everything I believe in and everything I preach. God, I never thought I'd have to do this. Okay. This is so hard. I caught the shiny Cyndaquil line in Pokemon Go. God, it's such a hard thing to say out loud, but I have to say it. I hate to justify my actions, but you have to understand
that catching Cyndaquil and Scarlet and Violet is impossible. I spent days, weeks, just opening and closing picnics. Not a single one shined. I did weeks of date resetting. Couldn't find a Cyndaquil outbreak. Every day, I couldn't get it. The temptation grew stronger and stronger. It was like an itch I couldn't scratch. I had to get my shiny Pokemon Go. God, I was in such a dark place. I couldn't imagine getting out of it until one day I saw there's a community event featuring shiny Cyndaquil. The second I saw it, I downloaded the game and I got my shinies. God, I was so embarrassed that I caught him that I even deleted the recordings. I don't have the footage of me catching them. But every time I see them in the box, I know what I did. You know what the worst part is? They're not even good. If I hypothetically had to put them in a tier list, I think they're all F tier. I did all this for one of the worst shinies ever. And I had to live with myself. Pathetic.
So moving on to the next hunts, I still was traveling a lot, so I continued recording a lot of my hunts using my Switch. Again, it's a great way to pass the time while traveling, but when it comes to making videos, it's not ideal because I won't be able to get my shiny reactions. So I think I'm going to try and get a bit creative and kind of manufacture some voiceovers for you. Cue the repo bot.
Wait, that's it, that's the shiny. Let's do shiny Rowlet is mine. This hunt took forever, but it was so worth it.
I'm gonna level with you guys. I think Rowlet is the perfect Pokemon, and I love its shiny. It just looks so good. I've loved this Pokemon ever since I first saw it. The mint and white colors are perfect. Its round body is adorable. Its matching red beak and feet, perfect. And the little bow tie, just, yeah, it's all good. It's all perfect. This is an easy S tier for me. Sadly though, I was only able to catch one member of the Rowlet line in this outbreak. Therefore, I went back to resetting for targets I was missing until I found myself a Snivy outbreak.
Wait, hold on. That's a different color. That's a shiny.
Snivy is another fantastic grass starter type Pokemon. It's another clear example of what to do right when you make a shiny green. I also think the yellow highlights on its body and its matching eyes make this a pretty easy A tier for me. It's not one of my all-time favorite Pokemon like Rowlet is, but it's still really good. Moving on though, I actually managed to keep an outbreak for longer than one shiny Pokemon this time around, so I kept hunting here until I could track down Servine.
It has descended from the heavens. The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Unfortunately, I think this shiny is a bit worse than Snivy. For me, the eyes are just too red for my taste. I'm also not a fan of how the yellow highlights kind of got traded for these orange colors. Pair those reasons with the fact that it's an awkward middle stage evolution Pokemon, and I'm going to put it in the mid C tier. On to the next target, you're going to have to suffer through more scuffed vacation shiny hunts. I was pretty much incapable of keeping an outbreak, so I had to switch targets yet again. I hope you can keep up with all this chaos. Regardless, I got to date resetting until I found a Popplio outbreak, and focused on that for a bit.
No way, that's the shiny. Let's go. We got it, shiny secured, baby.
What to say about Brione? Is it Brione or Brione? I guess to start, I do think that the shiny downgrades as Popplio evolves. There's some elements of the shiny that I like, but I feel like the simplicity of Popplio's shiny kind of gets lost as it evolves. I'm not sure how to explain it. The shiny compared to Popplio just feels super washed out. I don't think it's bad, but it doesn't wow me, so I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Something pretty momentous happened on the next shiny. I actually managed to keep an outbreak, which meant that I was able to finish an entire line.
Oh, well, that's actually it. Nice and easy in the ball. Just like that.
As for the ranking, I have very similar feelings towards Primarina that I do towards Brion. Nothing wows me about the shiny, and the colors just feel kind of washed out. Maybe I'm being picky, but I'm not a big fan of this yellow, and I kind of believe that the original colors of this Pokemon are better. So I'm going to rank it as a mid-C tier as well. But after I completed that Popplio line, I switched gears to find another target. One of my biggest goals was to just kind of tie up loose ends because I've been jumping around so much. So to solve that, I did some resets until I found myself a grass type and ended up targeting Rowlet. I was actually back from a vacation at this point too, so I actually had my real reaction. Oh, there he is. There he is. Got it. In my opinion, Dartrix's shiny is just as good as Rowlet's. Very similar to the Totodile line, they stuck with the color scheme that works, and I'm kind of here for it. That said though, it's not one of my all-time favorites, but it's still a really good shiny, so I'm going to put it in the A tier. Unfortunately though, I had to leave for another trip yet again, so I managed to lose that outbreak, which meant that I had to go back to the whole scuffed Switch recordings with no voiceovers. When I finally got the chance on my trip to do some hunting, I found myself having a Chespin outbreak, which meant that I could tie that loose end up.
That's shiny. I was not emotionally prepared for this.
I actually really like this shiny. The maroon colors look really cool. Trading the green hat for a matching brown hat too is really subtle, but it's pretty effective. That said, I don't love the brown colors, and it's not one of my favorite shinies. I think it's still good though, so I'm gonna give it a B tier. As promised, we were tying up loose ends, and because I was finally able to keep this outbreak for longer than 30 minutes, I was blessed and actually managed to find a second shiny.
Shiny acquired. Comments internal screaming. Successful capture. Joy levels rising.
What do you guys think about this Pokemon? Kind of ignoring the shiny for a moment. This is just a really goofy Pokemon to me. It's just so round. And to be honest with you, I actually forgot that this was a Pokemon until I had to catch one for this challenge. Now that I take the shiny into consideration though, it looks pretty cool. I like the maroons and the yellow. It looks nice, but because the Pokemon is so forgettable to me, I'm gonna give it a C tier. Now with the Chespin family complete, I kind of found myself wanting to finish more grass type starters, so I ended up finding myself a Turtwig outbreak. This is another family that I left kind of half finished since I had one Torterra from my Nuzlocke we caught earlier, so I kind of set out to finish this line as well.
Wait, that's the one I've been waiting for. This feels so good. Worth every second.
Turtwig is an interesting one to rank for me. I'm a huge fan of the Pokemon, but I cannot say I like the shiny. It turns this aqua teal color, and while I typically love those colors, it just doesn't fit with the yellow part of its body. The colors just, I don't like them together, so I'm gonna give it a C tier. As promised, I continued to hunt this area until I found the last remaining shiny Turtwig, so it wasn't too long before what I needed showed up.
Is that red? That's it. That's the shiny. Oh my gosh. I actually got it. Let's go.
This Pokemon reminds me a lot of Torterra, which, if you remember, I ranked in the F tier. The one saving grace of this Pokemon is that it has the similar teal and aqua colors that Turtwig has, but because it also has all these kind of off-green colors that look really bad together in my opinion, I'm going to rank it lower. I'm thinking I'm going to give this thing a D tier. I much prefer the original colors. So after finding those two Pokemon and not wanting to waste my grass type sandwich, I ended up finding a Chikorita outbreak. This is one family I haven't even touched yet, so I figured why not make my way over to it and shiny hunt.
Okay, you correctly. That's a real shiny. I'm free from the hunt.
Now let me be clear about this Pokemon. I really like this Pokemon. I've picked Chikorita in a few of my playthroughs of Soul Silver, so I never understood why people dislike it so much. Unfortunately, I'm here to consider the Pokemon's shiny colors right now, and honestly, I find it pretty disappointing. And to me, it looks like this Pokemon just didn't get enough water, and it's starting to dry out and die. Because of that, I'm gonna give it a D tier. Sorry, little guy. As my sandwich concluded for that shiny hunt, and I tried sandwich after sandwich and no more Chikorita spawned, I found myself losing that outbreak, and I kind of went back to picking different targets. To my credit though, I did actually switch to a target I needed, because I managed to find a Snivy outbreak again. Remember, I need one more Snivy to finish this line, specifically Superior, so when I saw that outbreak, I shiny hunted it until I got it.
Color variant detected. Shiny identified. Captured with precision.
I have pretty good things to say about this Pokemon. I love Snivy, and when in my playthroughs that Pokemon eventually evolved into Superior, I was a pretty big fan for life. The thing does lose its arms, which kind of stinks, but at least it looks cool, right? So I'm gonna actually give it a B tier. At this point, I was kind of having fantastic luck tying up all these loose ends, specifically around grass types, but I finished so many grass types, I actually wanted a bit of a break. I went after a fire type this time. Earlier in the challenge, I found myself an Incineroar for the Nuzlocke, so kind of using the same method to obtain that shiny, I went back into the mountains and shiny hunted for another Litten. Now, unlike Incineroar, I actually think this shiny is really good. The red and the white work super well together, and I'm going to put this one much higher on my list because it doesn't have that weird gray body that Incineroar does. I'm going to end up giving it an A tier. After I caught that shiny, I think my ADHD kicked in and I ended up switching targets. So I ended up finding myself working on getting Bulbasaur. Earlier I did get that Venusaur, so I kind of went back to the coastal biome and shiny hunted until I got both. This shiny hunt was a bit more work than I was expecting though, which I will explain a bit later. Hello. So if you remember, I ranked Venusaur poorly, primarily because of the off-green colors and the fact that its shiny isn't a huge departure from the original. I think the exact same philosophy is true with Bulbasaur here. I like this Pokemon. I understand the hardware limitations cause these green shinies, but I'm still not a fan, so I'm gonna give it an F tier. Back to that this took me more work than expected point. After I caught that shiny, I accidentally resetted my game without saving to save some Herba Mystica. Oh no. Oh, I goofed. This was pretty dumb because I actually caught my target, so I did save the Herba Mystica, but I didn't get the shiny. So now I'll have to go back and actually catch another 2 shinies. Oh, he's tiny! Ooh! I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Because I ranked Bulbasaur and Venusaur as F tier, I think that kind of automatically puts Ivysaur the F tier as well. Not only do I have the same complaints about the color scheme, it's just an awkward middle stage evolution. But after making that mistake earlier, I also still had a lot of time left in my grass sandwich, so I quickly ran over to a Rowlet outbreak that I had ready to go. Remember, I need one final shiny for that Rowlet line, but what decided to shine first kind of surprised me. Oh! So unnecessary. I don't need this. Either way, that sandwich was blessed because I actually found the shiny that I needed not too much long after. Yes! Alright. Cooking today. Not marked though. But it is the last one I need. I really like this Pokemon a lot. It has the same beautiful colors that Rowlet and Dartrix have as well. Like I said with Feraligatr, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Decidueye is an easy A tier for me. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you. I hope you're enjoying yourself, and I really do appreciate you. But we're only halfway done, and my next targets just so happen to be the Froakie line. Yeah! Oh, please. Give it to me. I have been playing this game for so long. I do like Froakie's shiny a lot. It's a bit subtle for sure, but the combination of baby blue and white is one of my favorite color combinations ever. There's also some yellow in the design, which I think goes great with the colors, so honestly, I'm just gonna give it a B tier. Maybe you could tell by my last shiny reaction, but these hunts were taking way longer than I expected. So long, in fact, that I started seeing some pretty weird things. It's got a tutu. It's got a cute dress. He's marked. He's marked. I went back and forth on this rating for a bit. Like I said with Froakie, I like the blue and the white. So here we are with another blue and white shiny, which means I should like it, right? But something just feels off about it. And I think it's the fact that one of the blues is just too dark, if that makes sense. It just doesn't feel balanced. I don't know how else to explain it. It's not a bad shiny per se, but I think that means I'm going to give it a C tier. It's pretty mid. At some point, I transitioned from doing a lot of these hunts off stream to doing them on stream, which should mean my reactions are better. But like I talked about earlier, I was having a really tough time getting Froakie, and I even spent several streams hunting for it. Since I wasn't able to get it, I did what I love to do and pivot. I still have other shinies to get, so I decided to go for a Squirtle instead during one of my streams. That didn't really work though, because I spent another 2 hours running around trying to get this guy, and I was about to call it quits, but I gotta thank Chug. He convinced me otherwise. You can't sleep on an L. The worst I had was a 15-hour stretch where I had no shinies in Legends. That was bad. Ooh, I cannot believe that it took that long to find this thing. That's insane. Oh, it feels good. All right, this is the sandwich. We're getting all 3 in this sandwich. I really like Squirtle as a Pokemon, but as a shiny Pokemon, I'm kind of disappointed by it. I think it's really hard to tell the difference between the two, especially if you can't see its green shell. That said, I don't think it's bad enough to call the shiny bad, but I still think it's kind of mid. I'm gonna give it a C tier. Even though I had good luck at the end, I didn't get anything else that stream, so I came back another day, and I took on the first hunt that I could, which happened to be a Piplup outbreak. If you recall, I still need to catch 2 more members of that family, and it didn't take long to find the first one. It is what it is. Oh, is this it? I didn't even start the timer and we got a shiny. All that time we wasted yesterday seems to be paying off here. I can't complain. So I ranked Empoleon at a C tier, and I think my logic there applies to Piplup as well. I'm not a huge fan of the gross neon yellow, but Piplup is one of my favorite starters of all time. I think that's enough to push it from the mid tier to the B tier. Another thing worth mentioning is that all my bad luck on Squirtle seemed to balance out by this Piplup outbreak, because within a few minutes, I found my second one. It's a little bit, it's not like a challenge. Oh, hey, luck is fantastic today. Cannot complain. I actually cannot wait to get out of the, cannot wait to get out of the water. I'm going to be honest with you, Piplup is not going to be getting the same love Piplup did. Like its family members that came before it, has that weird color scheme that I don't like, and because I'm dealing with an awkward middle stage Pokemon, I think I'm going to have to rank it alongside Empoleon in the C tier. And with that, we completed the Piplup line. And because I just started stream and got super lucky by getting 2 shinies right off the bat, I had to quickly pivot to find a new target. Luckily, I spotted a Litten outbreak, and because I needed Torracat from that line, it really only made sense to finish that hunt. I'm out of sandwiches. 1 minute left. Litten has been elusive. It's like Squirtle. I think we used up our luck at the beginning of the stream. Oh. Or not. Good job. Have to do the Premier Ball in this one. This is another weird Pokemon to me. Both Litten and Incineroar's shinies are red and white, but suddenly this middle evolution becomes orange? I don't really get it. I think the biggest strength of this line's shinies was the red and white color scheme, but because Torracat threw that advantage out the window, and it's an awkward teenage Pokemon, I'm gonna give it a D tier. I actually don't like it. Again, still in the same stream, I completed 2 families now. We finished the Pip line and now the Litten line. I kind of had to pick targets again to finish out the day, and as I was resetting outbreaks to find something that I needed, one stood out, one that is extremely rare, and that is Fennekin. I would put this Pokemon in the same class as Totodile. It is a very rare Pokemon, and by all means, I should drop everything I'm doing right now and hunt all 3 Fennekin using this outbreak. I'm gonna tell you up front, I did not get all 3 shiny Fennekin, which I promise will come back to haunt me later, but for now, I'll show the clip of the one that I did manage to find. I think it's a thing for guys with bigger sub counts. Like, I can upload a video that's 3 minutes and it tells me, it's like, hey, it'll show up as a short, but it doesn't look like it on my end. That's the problem. Well, we got one. We got a shiny. Hang on. There we go. We got it. It only took a couple. I'm a huge fan of this Pokemon and its shinies. You can probably tell by now that I'm biased towards fire types, but the gray, red, and white color scheme, oh, it looks good. I like it a lot. This is one of my favorite starter Pokemon of all time, too. So I'm going to give it an easy S tier. Such a sick shiny Pokemon. You know, after I did catch that one Fennekin, I did not get any more. When I started doing some hunting after stream, though, I did find the Oshawott outbreak that I was looking for, so we went for that. Unfortunately, though, that means I don't have my reaction for you, and I even forgot to record one of the clips for catching the second Oshawott. I find myself a lot of the times recording specifically for YouTube on my computer, and it's not a very comfortable setup, so it's nice to be able to just have some introverted quiet time shiny hunting, you know? As for the ranking, I got some mixed feelings on Oshawott. I really do enjoy this Pokemon, but I find the shiny unremarkable. Maybe subtle is a better word, because unless you're looking directly at its nose, I have a hard time seeing the difference between the 2 forms. I don't think it's overall bad, and out of respect for this Pokemon, I think I'm gonna give it a mid-C tier. I gotta rank a Dewott too, because we just caught that, and I debated on this Pokemon for a bit. At first glance, I like it. Purple and blue, great color combo, but at the same time, I've never really liked this Pokemon. I kind of lose a bit of interest in the Oshawott line once it starts evolving, so I think I'm gonna give it a mid-C tier as well. Alright, time to have a serious discussion. I've hunted a lot of starters. Not a single one was found using the Masuda method, except the first shiny I talked about. So why have I avoided it for this long? But it's simply, I do not want to use it unless I have to. In fact, one of my biggest factors for creating this video is the fact that I can hunt the starters using other methods. I just don't find hatching eggs as fun as outbreak hunting or doing static encounters, but regardless, in order to catch every shiny starter Pokemon, I'll have to take on the task I dreaded the most. Doing the Masuda method for the Gen 9 starters. 9 Masuda hunts. It's a daunting thing that I didn't realize I had to do until I started this challenge, but I'm so far into it, I can't stop now. I just gotta start hatching eggs. It's not all bad though. A cool feature in Scarlet and Violet is the ability to breed multiple Pokemon at the same time, which means that you can create eggs without knowing exactly which Pokemon is gonna hatch. It's a small thing, sure, but hunting all 3 lines at the exact same time is a way to kind of make things more interesting. After all, I don't know exactly what was gonna shine first. Look at that. That's sick. 398. 398 is the count. We're under odds on that one. That ain't bad. fact, I think Fuecoco is my favorite of the new Gen 9 starters. It's got a pretty cool shiny too, I'm not gonna lie. I love the pink, and so for those reasons, I'm gonna place my guy in the A tier. One Masuda hunt down, 8 to go. There's a lot of time you can kill while hatching eggs, but that shiny, I'm gonna save it for another story on another day. It did, however, give me the motivation to keep pushing and hatching eggs for my next random target. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, feels good. It's been so long since I got a shiny starter. My god. Sprigatito is my second favorite starter from this generation, and a big part of my interest towards this Pokemon, as well as Fuecoco, is probably due to Pokemon Horizons, if I had to guess. Sprigatito also has a great shiny. I really like it. But because I don't think it's a huge departure from the original colors, I think I'm going to put it in the B tier instead of the A tier with Fuecoco. 2 Masuda hunts down, 7 to go. Like I said before, I find this process exhausting, but I did a lot of other things to kind of pass the time. This was around the time that I was doing a lot of Arceus resets. I think this was even before I did my daily short series. Obviously, Arceus didn't shine, but I did get another surprise shiny. Did I just click right past that like an absolute madman? My voice hurts so bad. I can't like scream. I can't be happy. I just, I was not expecting that. I expected to like hatch 3 more eggs and then wrap it up for the day. Ah, the toothpaste Pokemon. Sadly, this is my least favorite of the Gen 9 starters, but I don't think that makes it bad. The shiny colors do look nice, but I wish it stood out more. Because I still like this Pokemon, I think I'm still okay with giving this a B tier. 3 Masuda hunts down, 6 to go. And it's at about this point that I kind of went off the rails. I just had to occupy my brain by doing random streams. I found myself playing with the stream layout, doing stupid things. I was cloning myself. I don't know how this happened. I was always shiny hunting for Arceus, and I was even working towards completing the Pokedex to get the shiny charm in games like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. There's a lot going on, but part of the process of Masuda hunting is literally just waiting in front of a picnic and spamming A to collect eggs to hatch over like 30-minute time periods. I just had to do something else or I would go crazy. The worst part is that even doing that over a few streams was not enough to get the shiny. Something I like to do on bigger tasks like this with a bunch of different shinies is quit, or as some people like to call it, pivot. I started hunting Froakie instead. I needed a bit of a break, I'm not gonna lie. This was not a bad detour though, because I really only need 1 more shiny left for this line, so it was really nice to finally get my Greninja. Yes! Yes! Oh, it only took me 3 sandwiches. I think we can all be honest. Greninja is in the same league as Shiny Charizard. I absolutely love black shinies. I also love Greninja's red tongue scarf as well. It just looks so good together. And I've loved this Pokemon ever since I first saw its shiny. I think this is just an easy S tier, and I know most of you will back me up on that. Sometimes all you need is a little win like that. So I went back to hatching eggs. At this point, I'm at about 1,500 total eggs, which is to be expected. What is not to be expected, though, is getting a 4th shiny. That's pretty good. But thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time. Wait. I missed it. I was like full autopilot. I think the love for the Fuecoco line kind of dies with this Pokemon. If you want to talk about weird middle stage evolutions for Pokemon, this is it. This is my poster child. I love Fuecoco, I love Skeldurge, but this guy's just, it's so weird. It's so awkward. I just don't like it. And I think the shiny colors are worse than Fuecoco's pink as well. So for me, it's bad. I'm gonna put it in the D tier. 4 Masuda hunts down, 5 to go. If you couldn't tell, these hunts are taking place over a pretty long period of time. I got a lot of pretty cool shinies on other projects I was working on, like this shiny Zygarde, for example. Despite those small wins along the way, it was a rough year for me, and it was at about this point that I got sick. I don't remember my exact logic, but I think I just wanted a break from hatching eggs, so I set my sights on a Chikorita outbreak again. I had wanted to finish up that line. Please forgive the reactions. This is low energy stick Kona. Ooh, that was quick. Bruh. Oh, the sickness. Oh, there we go. Nice. You know, I think I'm starting to see why people are not a huge fan of the Chikorita line. Now that Chikorita's evolved, I do think it loses a bit of its charm, and the shiny itself was pretty disgusting. Again, it looks like a dried out dead mat. So I'm gonna put Bayleaf in the F tier. Sorry, buddy. I will say the nice thing about being sick is that you get a lot of free time on your hands. So I was able to get the second shiny in the same outbreak to complete the line. Yes, we spot him. Wild Chikorita in the wild. Very slowly approach. Hey, that's all the Chikoritas. So I like Meganium just like I like Chikorita, but they need to stop with the ugly off yellow green colors. It's just, I don't like it. I will say for this shiny in particular, I cannot tell the difference between the normal and the shiny variant. So just like the other members of the line, I'm gonna put Meganium in the F tier. That said, I was still sick, so no more streams, but I was able to get a lot of work done. Did some Arceus resets, worked on hatching eggs, and I even started to hunt for a ground on an Ultra Sun Ultra Moon because I finished getting that shiny charm I talked about. But I didn't have any shinies to show for it until this happened. Oh, that feels good. What egg is that? Holy, I've been at it for a while today. To Skeledirge's credit, I think it's my favorite fully evolved Gen 9 starter. I really like its unique shiny. I feel like I've never seen this bright magenta or pink on any other shiny. If you pair that with its interesting design, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to deduct a few points though because I think it's a bit too messy of a Pokemon, but I still think it's really good, so I'm going to give it a B tier. 5 Masuda hunts down, 4 to go, and I'm still sick, but I still be hunting. I was getting a little better though, but listening to me cough during these clips made me think otherwise. Here I took another break from doing some Masuda hunts, and I started hunting a Squirtle outbreak, which I found. I already had 1, and I just wanted 2 more to finish that line. It didn't take too long to find what I wanted. Yeah, no way! He's underwater. How do I get them to surface? I don't know. Oh, that's pretty easy, actually. Sick. Oh, we got him. I do think that Wartortle gets buffed as it evolves, instead of being downgraded like a lot of the other starters entering its second stage evolution. Its shiny gets an upgrade too, so overall I think this Pokemon is a good improvement. I'm going to give it a B tier. But there is one more member of this family I wanted to shiny hunt, and I kept going in my sickened state until I got it. Ooh, is there any time left? 1 minute. He's tiny. Number 3. This is the last one. Last little Squirtle. Big Man Blastoise is very similar to Wartortle in my opinion, and Blastoise still maintains those colors that I think make its predecessor great. Based on those 2 things, I'm going to give this guy B tier as well. But I've put it off long enough. I gotta get back to hatching those Masuda eggs. Because I was still struggling with my voice, I was doing this off stream, but it was a great chance to work on things like Arceus resets too. It's also worth noting that I ditched the randomized Gen 9 starters. At this point, I started specifically going for Sprigatito. And as you can tell by the egg counter, it took me a while to get to this point. Dude, I cannot believe my luck. This is nuts. How many eggs was that? 6. I have to look back at the footage to see when I got the last bit Coco, but this is like 100, 200. Can't be that many. Insane. Insanely under odds. So I ranked Sprigatito as a B tier, but I don't think I can do the same for Florigato here. One of the aspects that made Sprigatito's rank higher was its prominent purple in the shiny and its pretty cute design. Florigato shiny is, I think, barely distinguishable from the original, and I think it loses a bit of its charm as it evolves. I don't think it's ugly or bad. I'm going to put it in the mid C tier. 6 Masuda hunts down, free to go, and I finally felt the strength to stream again after recovering from my sickness. One of the beautiful things about streaming is the money. I mean, the interactions with the chat. One of my viewers laid down a gauntlet while I was hatching eggs. I really do appreciate it. Donating in this economy is insane. 5 more if a shiny shows up? Oh boy, gotta lock in. Problem that stinks is I'm running out of eggs. I have not that many more prepared. I'm raising my ads on Twitch. Gotta up that ad density, hit that the good stuff. There he is. Pay up. The luck has been absolutely disgusting with Masuda. I've never had this luck doing Masuda hunts. This is nuts. Scarda is one of those Pokemon I debated for a bit. On one hand, I think it's really pretty. I love the purple colors incorporated into the shiny. But on the other hand, this Pokemon's a bit off-putting to me. It might just be a little too human-like. Interpret that however you want, but for me, I'm going to end up ranking it as a mid-C tier. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. 7 Masood hunts down, 2 to go. Now I'm gonna level with you. I spent hours looking for this clip. Don't know where it is. I have the shiny though. You'll have to take my word for it. This was something I either did on stream or off stream, but I did end up getting Quaxwell. As for the ranking, I also lose interest in the Quaxley line as it evolves. Maybe it's the humanoid duck part, or maybe it's just its gigantic head, or maybe I'm just not a fan of ducks. I can't tell, but the Pokemon just looks a bit off to me, but I admit it's not a horrible shiny. I think I'm gonna be generous, give it a C tier. 8 Masood hunts down, and 1 to go. One final hunt, and I am free from hatching eggs. I don't know what it is about this process, but I find it so draining, especially after streaming day after day after day without finding the final shiny. I did Arceus resets, showed off some old Minecraft worlds, planned upcoming projects, worked on completing a second Pokedex in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to get the shiny charm, and this thing refused to shine. It wasn't until we approached 3,000 eggs where the final Gen 9 starter shined. I was thrilled to be finally free from this nonsense.
I'll be watching on Switch. Have fun. Have you used the lurk command, Marshadow? There's a new lurk command. Yes! I'm so done with eggs. I've had enough. Oh my god.
I think it's worth mentioning too how insanely lucky I got with these Masuda hunts. 2,939 eggs in total, which means I averaged about 300 eggs per shiny. Given that the odds are 1 in 512, I should be thankful because this Masuda hunting process could have been so much worse. Let's rank Quavel though. Let me just say, am I the only person that was confused when I first saw this Pokemon? I think I get the concept, Spanish dancer Pokemon, but maybe it's just because it's a new Pokemon that I'm questioned by it. Maybe my opinion will change in the future, I'm not sure yet. But overall, I don't think it's bad. I'm gonna give it a C tier. Now that I'm done hatching eggs, it is time to focus up and finish this challenge. So it's back to Blueberry Academy to hunt using outbreaks. There are a few families still left, but because I found a Chimchar outbreak in a location where you can hunt Scorbunny as well, I thought it would be perfect to hunt here. I really wanted to finish the Chimchar line first because of the outbreak I had, but I guess the game had a different plan.
We were just talking about it earlier. You can save outbreaks for a longer period of time than 24 hours. You just have to do some date manipulation stuff. Ooh, bunny! It's a bunny! We got something today. Oh, yes. This is good. This is progress. Is it marked? Ooh, oh, and it's big. Is that a bunny? This is a bunny. Come on. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I totally switched him into... There we go. It doesn't matter. I switched him into use Spore, and I did everything except use Spore.
This is my favorite Gen 8 shiny for sure. Obviously because it's a fire type, but I just love this guy. It's a simple, clean fire bunny that has a beautiful gold and white shiny. What more do you want me to say? This is going to easily be another S tier shiny for me. Even though I technically phased for Chimchar, it didn't really feel like it because I actually needed some Scorbunnies, right? But the game decided it was finally time to hand me the target I originally set out for.
And I'm gonna have to remember that when I start doing the super serious weathermark hunts. Monkey! Is this monkey marked? He's not marked. But he's shiny. I love him for that. There we go. That was easy. A little more stressful than I thought it'd be.
Chimchar is another Pokemon I'm fond of. I don't think it's my favorite of Gen 4, but I can't deny I like it. And I can't deny that I do like its shiny. I'm a sucker for pastel colors, and Chimchar's magenta looks the best by far. So this gets an easy A tier. 1 Chimchar down and 2 to go. Thankfully, I didn't phase in another Scorbunny, and the game spawned a shiny really quick too.
The weather is literally on fire. Do not go outside. Or is it like do not start a fire type weather? It's been pretty warm by me, and all of... Oh, monkey! Oh, he's not marked, but he is a shiny. This is number 2. Okay, we got it. Let's go.
So while Monferno maintains that good magenta color, I think the elements it gains by evolving end up hurting it. I'm not a fan of the yellow parts on the arm or the fact that its arms are gigantic compared to the rest of its body, but it's not bad. So I think it goes in the C tier with the rest of the mid Pokemon. Look, I promise you that I was going for Chimchar first. I spent all this time preparing that outbreak for shiny hunting, but at the end of the day, sometimes the game gives you shinies you aren't looking for.
Only Switch gameplay. Bunny! It's a rabbit! Look! Thank God I locked in. I would have almost missed him. Perfect. Oh, that's 2.
All right, the time for glazing the Score Bunny line is over. I have no idea what happened to this Pokemon. We traded a beautiful golden bunny for this thing. I hate the gray body and I hate this guy's design, truthfully. Even though Gen 8 was relatively recent, I actually forgot this Pokemon existed. And because of that, I think I'm gonna give it an F tier. So now I'm in a weird spot where I need one member from each of these fire type families. One from the Chimchar line and one from the Score Bunny line. But I ended up spending so much time in this spot running around this outbreak that it was only natural to catch Chimchar's last shiny first.
Not a fan of disc golf. I take it, Peter Stoppin. I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. Wow! I just started. What? That's the last monkey. Spent all that time. It's like 4 hours, 2 days in a row, 8 hours total. Just showed up the second I made a Sammy. God, that took so long.
I'm a big Infernape fan, probably because of my love for Gen 4. I love the pastel colors on these shinies, and in my opinion, Infernape does it best. It's also a Pokemon I've spent a considerable amount of time with in the games, and I really do appreciate it, so I think this makes it an easy A tier for me. With the Chimchar line finished, and I already had 2 members of the Score Bunny line, it really only made sense to change spots and finish what I started by hunting that last Score Bunny. The game has a pretty sick sense of humor though. It loves teasing me with shinies I don't really need. Literally right as I left the Chimchar outbreak to start hunting Score Bunny, this happened.
Crap. I didn't want to phase, but we phased. Not even marked. I'm going to keep it a stack. Chat, what do? I don't want him. Kill him. Okay, we can do that. I think we'll leave him in the wild. Someone else can get him. See you later, buddy.
This next part is hard to convey since I didn't really have a timer set up for this hunt, but I promise you, I spent hours of my life trying to get this Pokemon. This amount of time in Scarlet and Violet just feels like an eternity. I don't know why. That's why I sound so excited when I finally got the Score Bunny I was looking for.
I took a quick break. I went to make a beverage, and Dino hit me with the jump scare the second I got back. I just show up whenever I remember. Oh, bless! Thank the gods! By holy Arceus. This took way too long. And it's marked. Oh my god. Quick ball. I've had enough. Holy.
I'm pretty disappointed when I see this Pokemon's shiny. The Cinderace evolution introduces this weird gray color and ditches the white fur that makes, I think, the shiny look really good. Maybe they tried to make it look like a real rabbit with the gray fur, but I don't like it. Original colors are so much better in this particular Pokemon, so I'm going to give this Pokemon a C tier, out of respect for the fact that I like its design. I hate the shiny though. So I was still on a crusade for catching a lot of missing fire types, which means it was time to take on the Torchic line again. Remember, I literally started this challenge by doing a Masuda hunt for Torchic, but I didn't want to do that again. So I decided to isolate Torchic spawns instead. If you go to the polar biome in this specific cave, you can auto battle some Torchic with the fire sandwich, and after not doing a whole lot of work, you'll get a pretty easy shiny Torchic.
Flat would be shoulder height. Oh, interesting.
Torchic!
Chicky poo! I need this guy. Oh, yay!
Torchic is another questionable shiny. On one hand, I love the Pokemon. This was my first starter when I played Sapphire for the first time, but on the other hand, I wish it was better. I get what they were going for when they swapped the yellow and the orange of its fur, but it's not amazing. I think I'm just gonna give it a C tier. With having the Torchic farm set up, literally I just kept auto battling until I got the second Torchic I needed to finish the family.
We eating then, I guess? I don't think we're eating tonight. Angel's cooking later. Hopefully we get a shiny Torchic though. My god. I want to end the day on this so bad. We starve then, I guess. Yeah, it feels like that right now. Oh! Hang on. It's over. Are you marked? No. But it's shiny. Oh. Let's call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. Jarvis, use quick ball, not luxury ball.
Combustion is an interesting Pokemon for me. I do like how they swapped the orange colors for a distinct red. I think that's an upgrade from Torchic, but I still find the change too subtle. It's also an awkward middle stage evolution Pokemon I hate. I much prefer Torchic or Blaziken, so I think because those balance each other out, I'm gonna give it a C tier. With the Torchic family completed, time to finish all the fire types. And one more family remains. One family that I said earlier in the video, I would regret not taking advantage of the outbreak I had, and that Pokemon is Fennekin. I had no idea how much of a pain this Pokemon was going to be to hunt. It is nearly impossible to get an outbreak for it, and because multiple fire types spawn in the area it spawns, you can't really isolate it with a fire sandwich, meaning that if you want to get a shiny, you're going to get a lot of extra shinies. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. Yeah, wow. There's no way it didn't phase. I guess it did phase, but I expected way worse. And it's marked. Bless. I think if you look at Fennekin's shiny, I think the last color you would expect when the Pokemon evolves is to get purple. But that said, I still think it's good. I think the color combinations look fantastic, and it's a cool design, so I think I'm going to give it a B tier. Back to the shiny hunting, I did think I got super lucky on the first one, and I also learned from my first phase that it's better to hunt during the day. That way you can minimize the Litleo spawns that compete with Fennekin. I didn't think much of it. After all, I got my first Fennekin super fast. Maybe I was overthinking how many phases I would actually get. I mean, surely I don't get any more phases and I can get my last Fennekin pretty quickly, right? Right? Brother, what are you doing here? You are not a fire type. Oh! That's not a fire type. Oh! Pain. I knew this would happen, but... It's another phase. I'm looking at that Litten. Another phase. Oh. That is not a fire type, and I don't understand. Whoa, wait, what? I didn't even... What happened? Where did... I didn't see it, I just walked into it. Wait. It's on absolute autopilot. Oh, this is the last fire type. Thank God. It's over. For one of the types. Oh my God, that was painful. But let's rank Delphox. I think the quality of this shiny line falls apart at the final evolution. I'll be honest, all I see when I look at this Pokemon is a guy in a dress holding a torch as they walk around through a cave. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's a weird look for a Pokemon game. So I'm going to give this Pokemon a D tier. So that's all the fire types done. But there's more work to do, and I have 3 shiny families remaining, of which I decided to take on the Mudkip line first. I was dreading this hunt a bit because it's hard to get outbreaks, but at least in this case you can isolate the spawns inside the caves of the coastal biome. The only tricky part that remains is just running around and trying not to get lost. It's 8:05. Oh, hey, oh, I love this thing. It's such a beautiful shiny. Not marked though. It's not marked, but 1 of 3. I'll take it. I think this Pokemon's an all-timer. I love Mudkip along with all the other Gen 3 starters, but this shiny, whew, it's fantastic. I love the purple so much. I think it's the best shiny of the generation. Because I'm such a fan of it, I think it gets an easy S tier. Something that I noticed happening to me as I was getting towards the end of this challenge was that I was getting the motivation to keep hunting in one sitting. I really wanted to finish this line and this whole challenge at this point. For all the shinies, it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good video. But Rowlet's definitely up there. It's a... Ooh, ha! It's marked! This is such a good spot. It is marked, too. As for Marshtop's shiny, we lose a bit of the charm when it evolves. I've made it pretty clear I'm not a fan of middle stage evolutions, but it's still got that really good color scheme, and I would confidently put this thing in the A tier. Only one more shiny remained in the Mudkip line, and the fact that I was able to get the previous two quickly kind of gave me the motivation I needed to keep hunting until the last one shined. Everyone's mad at each other because they just want to get to where they want to go. That's number 3, baby! Although it's not marked. That was so quick, I agree. Not marked, but this is number 3. That's the end. Actually, I didn't save. Hang on. That's the end of the Mudkip line. I think Swampert is in the same story as Marshtop, except I really like this Pokemon. This is one of the few fully evolved water types that I really love, and because it still maintains that beautiful purple color from the previous shinies, I think it's an easy A tier. After I finished the Mudkip line, it was time to move on to the remaining 2 starter families, and I decided to hunt Trico to finish up the grass types. I did attempt this family before, but I had no luck. Maybe this time, as I'm nearing the completion of this challenge, I'll have the motivation to finish things up. See ya, Joe. Good night. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. I think we'll be back tomorrow. Ooh, hang on. Stay around for like 2 seconds, Joe. Come back. He's gone. Poor guy. Oh, we got one, though. Oh. That's good. I am not sure what happened in Gen 3, but they did a really good job on the shinies. I really like Trico's design, and the shiny is super unique. The decision to match a red tail with a teal body is sick, so this easily gets an A tier for me. Man, I was having much better luck this time around, and that was made all the more clear by getting my second shiny Trico. Damn. That's a funny one because if you play a different Pokemon game, that's the sound effect that plays when you have a shiny. Oh, good job, Alec. You did it. You get to hide that one when someone uses... Yeah. Well done. I got the freaking counter again. We're at 77. 4 left. Grovyle is one of the few second stage evolutions I love. It does not have that awkward middle stage evolution debuff, and I think a big reason for it is Grovyle's character in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. It also has that same sick color scheme as Trico, so for me, this is an easy A tier. Only one member of the family remains. This is the last grass type starter I need across the board. Even though it took some doing, I got it in the end. Something more chill and backgroundy. But oh man, these songs hit hard. Oh, yes! Yes! That's the 3rd! That's it! Trico's done! 6 shinies in one night. Unprecedented. We don't do that. We don't do that here. I think Sceptile follows the same pattern as the other 2 shinies in this line. I love the design. I love the shiny. And while it does slightly change colors, I still think it looks really good compared to the previous 2 stages. So this is an easy A tier for me. Now we're truly on the final stretch. One more family remains, and it just so happens to be the Sobble line. I didn't really have a reason for leaving this Pokemon to the end, but I think it's just because outbreaks are hard to come by. That's not really an issue though, because if you prepare a water sandwich and reset your picnic in this specific location, you can easily churn through spawns. Yeah, it's in the same class as like Gengar and what's another really bad one? Drapion. I just played Legends Arceus, and there's a bunch of Scorpy and Drapions, and that was bad. But what's not bad is this shiny Sobble, and like, how long have I been streaming? Less than... Oh, I've been hunting... Oh, geez, hang on. Well, that's the first one, and... Well, I started at 7 o'clock. That didn't actually happen. I think I was late. Well, I have mixed feelings on Sobble. Out of the Gen 8 starters, this is my least favorite, and I much prefer the yellow and blue of its non-shiny form. I think for that reason, it's going to be a mid-C tier, because I can't really bring myself to call this shiny bad. And the game must have known that I was nearing the end, because it decided to grace me with the second to last shiny very quickly.
That's what I'm saying. There might be like some auto moderation thing. Oh my goodness. This will be the shortest stream of my life. We keep this up. We're doing good. This is kind of nuts, actually. My God, dude. How many balls do I have to throw? Let's go.
I'll be honest, this is another Pokemon that I forgot existed. The only reason I remembered to catch it was because I had to for this challenge. I don't know why it's so forgettable. Maybe it's because it's a newer game and I didn't play Gen 8 that much. Maybe it's because it has this weird emo hairstyle, but either way, I'm not a fan. I'm gonna put it in the F tier. Sorry to those of you that love this Pokemon. This is my tier list. With that said, only one more shiny starter remains for the Sobble line, one more remains for all the water types, and one more shiny remains for the entire challenge. Because I was so close, I committed to not ending stream until I got my final shiny. Thank God the game was on my side because it did not take too much long to find my final target.
Rivals kind of fire. Yeah, it's fun. I'll probably play for a bit, although you're not going to enjoy my gameplay. It's tough. I'm not, I think I just got back to... Yes. Yes, it's over. We're done. It's over. Yes. Oh. It's been a year since I started this. And we're done. I gotta catch it, but we saved. It's all good. This is the final shiny. Number 81. Oh. Yeah, at least we finished the project before Gen 10 came out. That's true. The final Frogget, the final countdown. LeBron.
This is the last ranking, and I'm going to have to end it with a potentially controversial one. I don't like this Pokemon. I think it's really weird to have a James Bond Pokemon with finger guns. That's enough of a reason for me to put it in the F tier. I think objectively the shiny is okay, but maybe I'm just biased. I don't want to rank it higher. I'm going to end there. F tier. With that, though, this is the final list. I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but I'd love to hear about it in your comments. I'd also love to know if you enjoyed the video. This whole project was a bit of an experiment for me, and to be frank, I'm probably going to ditch the tier list in future collectathon videos. I found it really difficult to finish this video personally, and I would much rather write a compelling, like, story-driven shiny hunting video, but at the end of the day, I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so I posted it regardless. If you did enjoy it, I'd love to know, and chances are I'll probably do it again, so please give me your feedback. But with that, like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.